have a pretty decent turnout. So why don't we go ahead and get the big show going? So couple fun things today. Dave, are you able to record now?
I am recording.
All right, thank you very much. So we've got two people that are going to present today. The first one, I'm going to start off with Phylo. I want to have him give us a little brief rundown on where we are with the vote. We're trying to increase the frequency of communication on this because we're getting closer, and it's important to make sure that everybody is aware that it's coming up, and start spreading the word that the vote's coming, and so this is part of that campaign in order for us to communicate that and get it out. And then following that, we're going to have Gianfranco. He's going to give us a presentation on his just newly announced NFT sale. I'm real excited to hear about that. So two fun things. So are you in a place where you can help us out, Holger? You good?
Of course. Let's first check. Do you hear me actually?
Yeah, we hear you well. We hear your dog too.
It's always whenever it's like I think
no worries, man. It's not a problem. It was just fun.
I'm kind of a hillbilly living on the last ranch here somewhere.
It's either dogs or frogs. I love it.
Or chickens in general.
Or chickens too. Yeah, that's true.
Yes. So welcome to the farm, my friends. Yes, talk a bit about the upcoming vote. I just wanted to give a short update because I know some of you might not be able to participate in the usual treasury governance meetings because they're like in a nasty time zone for you, and so might be good to give some updates. We are coming close with the vote. The cool thing is Firefly is developing very much in the open, and so there is actually a Firefly thread now where you can follow the devs in how the voting is progressing. Wait, you have the Americas channel. Maybe I will just pin.
Yeah.
I will put the link in the Americas channel if I find it.
Yeah. Good luck finding it.
Stupid threads. So this is actually
If you're looking for us, we're a little bit above casual voice, I think.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the link if you want to join the thread and look up what is happening in the voting. So they are actually yesterday they merged a few voting PRs to the develop branch in Firefly. They have since 3 weeks an internal testnet running where they test all the voting functionalities in Firefly. Still, it's mostly small UI UX things. Yeah, so kind of getting the flow that we proposed and thought about, getting this flow transported and translated into a real working Firefly version. This is where they are in the moment. And don't know, maybe this will be another no ATAs, but maybe 1 or 2 weeks, I think. And then the thing can go into the internal testing group. And once we have went through the Firefly tester, because that is like the community test group, then we will do the vote. Yeah. So I don't know, but not so far away. Yeah. Normally the Firefly testing is for staking. I think we did like 3 weeks in the closed testing group, but everything was super new then, and so most of the functionalities that we used in staking are one-to-one transported into the voting thing. So it might not even take as long as it took with the staking testing. So there's like the sunlight is ahead for us to get the first vote done. What else? We already thinking a bit ahead. Yeah? So our interest lies, of course, in what would happen after the first vote. Yeah? Let's assume the community votes for build, because if the community votes for burn, the discussions will be over and we don't need to care about this whole governance thing in IOTA anymore. But let's assume the community votes for build. Um, then we will have quite of a huge task ahead of us in building a DAO that holds those funds and makes it possible to spend those funds. And this is not something that can be done by only 3 people. And so we have put up some working groups and task groups to develop the system and to think about how Treasury DAO could really work holding so much funds. And so if you join the governance channel, there are several new threads, and we have a Google Doc where people can just sign up, but you can just join the threads and start talking about things like voting systems, governance and organizational structures, finance stuff, tokenomics, and things, how to diversify such a portfolio of coins. Um, a lot of legal questions need to be clarified, and so anybody who is interested in this and thinks about aid, it would be cool to talk about that stuff. Join the threads, start the discussion there. We will be happy to put in a lot of knowledge and resources into these group, because it will not be the last treasury that we will be building. Yeah, and we will build a treasury for assembly, of course. We will have a treasury, maybe even several treasuries in Shimmer, and so this is really important work to be done, and there might be even opportunities coming up for people in getting paid for their work, in finding new jobs in the ecosystem, in working or organizing such treasuries. And so it's like not something that is expected to be done for free forever. Yeah. So that would be a cool idea to do. And then yesterday, some interesting discussions started in the community, in the call, about, because this big treasury DAO, this will be several months until it will be possible to run. Yeah. First, what we need would be smart contracts on mainnet, and this will take time. So after the first initial burn or build vote, we will still sit there with the possibility of using the tokens one day once everything is finished. But there is quite a big gap between this first vote and then a possible execution of a treasury DAO. And so to fill this gap, some people came up with the idea to maybe, after the first vote, have quite fast a second vote that would ask the IOTA community to unfreeze a part of the treasury and give this into the hands of, I don't know, of a trusted entity from the community, maybe a committee of community members, maybe a combination of community members and the EDF or something like this, that would act as a trustee on those funds. I don't know, 1, 2, 3 million US dollar worth, which that could be used in a like, let's say, more easy and flexible way to, for one, fund the development of the main DAO, because you will need software developers, you will need people working kind of full-time in developing the system, and also to already start to support some ecosystem projects that are in the moment still running low on funding and struggling to continue development to be ready for assembly with all the new smart contract features. And so this would be an interesting discussion. There's also a new channel in the governance section where people that are interested in discussing these things and developing ideas on if how something like this would be possible, how to bring this up to a vote with the community, how to organize such a thing. So this would be really interesting if somebody wants to join up, join the discussion in this channel there. This might be an interesting
Yeah,
opportunity.
this is an exciting thing. I mean, when we first started this whole thing in governance, I remember a lot of us had come to the conclusion that that this whole scenario was going to happen, right? That we're going to have the vote, but then everybody will want to say, okay, let's start spending it, right? But the system wouldn't be ready. So then I started having conversations with Mark and with Phylo and Antonio, saying, hey, whether maybe there's a way we can get loans or whatever from the EDF or the IF while we're trying to, while we're building the system and doing so. Obviously, there's been a lot of time between those conversations and now, but now it's now we're seeing, we're getting to the end of the tunnel. We're starting to see some light, and now this is really exciting and engaging, and so that channel was stood up today. Dumb Dave and a whole bunch of other people have already volunteered, and uh, I'm excited about the opportunity. So you guys should take a look at what's going on in there. It's pretty cool.
Yep. Yep. It's pretty cool. It's of course also it has to be well thought through, yeah. So
Yeah.
there are ups and downs on this thing. This like the downside is definitely the way something like this could be perceived by a part of the community that would kind of feel like, oh look, the let's say the core community is grabbing to fill their bags quite quickly from this treasury. So that's very important that things like this are communicated and also really executed in a really well made way, so that it's not, yeah, it's because it's not a money grab. Of course, people that are involved there, um, I think it's kind of clear for most people that are involved in the IOTA community what we need and where we need to put money in. Yeah, but of course there will be different opinions, and so there needs to be still votes happening and decisioning happening in like major directions of for what such a small, how did we call it yesterday, speed fund committee or something, how this would be allowed to operate. And um, there needs to be checks and balances, and so this was the idea also to have some kind of oversight from the EDF, which has a huge experience in doing all this grant funding over the last couple of years, and is also kind of a, let's say, like a little bit like a neutral entity in between, and it also could even provide some kind of legal wrapping, because this all this stuff again will need to be set up properly so that people get involved there won't get into any risk of being sued for anything later on. So there's still a lot of talks and discussions to do, and that's not stuff that's gonna happen in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, join the discussion there. Sure, there will be some cool opportunities, and it would be great if we can establish something like this to have some liquid capital available quite early, so we can bridge over the next, I don't know, 6-8 months until the main DAO would be ready to give out funds from the big pot.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
so
it's a good strategy. I mean, it's definitely like, all right, let's start advancing the ball. Let's start moving, right? And so, like you said, there's tons of stuff to be worked out. There's always legal issues. There's got to work the PR aspects, but now people are getting excited again. So that's pretty fun.
yeah, and it's really important also, because you have to see in the end what I'm seeing otherwise, if we don't have any funding available for people to contribute to building the main treasury DAO, then in the end it will stuck with the people that are doing it already the last 9 months. And yeah, then this would mean that the IOTA Foundation would have to hop in again there with resources, with developers, engineers, or a community team would need to come together go through the big hustle of requesting a fund from the EDF, which is always really complicated because the EDF has so much restrictions that I don't know if it would even be easy to get an EDF grant for building a treasury DAO. So that's like a lot of difficult questions, and so it might be easier if there is a possibility of having some funds available that are not as restricted as the EDF funds, to use it for this process of building the DAO and supporting some projects on the way.
Holger, this is Andy. I was wondering, is
Hi,
there
Andy.
is there a reason why we want to use this initially to be set up as a DAO? Because I feel like it's almost like we need to set up something that or kind of currently legally has its kind of things to wrap around, like if it's a nonprofit or something like that, or like a for-profit company that or something of that nature. I just don't know if starting with a DAO to find out how to make a DAO.
No, this is actually, this would not actually, so this, let's say this committee idea, this would not be a kind of real DAO. So this would be more something like a foundation or a trust or something like this that would try to act democratic still. But of course, then the thing is, there would be maybe 10 people, yeah, if community 5IF or all community, and these 5 people the community would need to trust these 10 people that they don't run away with the funding, because actually what would happen is that a part of that they would have an account and they would get the money, and then something needs to be in place that ensures that not the 10 people say, okay, everyone have fun, take 250k and see you in the Cayman Islands next month, yeah, and they would just disappear. Yeah, so there needs to be some kind of structure in place, but this does not need to be a DAO. This can be any kind of of entity that ensures that there is a kind of control over this fund. So might be even possible to put, let's say, the funding into a custodial provider, like what we use is like the Crypto Finance AG in Switzerland, and so they would hold the funds as a custodial for the community, and then there would be just a committee that kind of decides on spending of these funds. That maybe there's still like an overseeing board that has an eye on where this funding is going, something like this. Yeah, so like has to be discussed, but I don't think this would be a DAO to build DAOs. This would more be like a grant committee to fund building the real DAO.
That makes a lot more sense. Okay. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's because there's too much to set up, right? I mean, it's even that what he just described is still going to take time, right? So
yeah.
Yes.
Well,
and
one of the ways you can potentially accelerate who's on that committee is make sure that the people who are on that committee kind of submit to KYC and anti-money laundering things. Like
absolutely. This is of course, yeah.
And
because
and you can essentially use the law firm or whatever kind of organization that will do that process. They themselves can kind of be an oversight, much like how you have like an escrow account and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty absolutely.
It would also be whatever contract is set up, they hold the funds, and then in that contract that would be agreed upon of, hey, the committee will submit 10 proposals and those will be funded. I think we like the EDF as well because they're so good with their processes on milestones, right? Like if let's say we had it with a custodial, which could be maybe they hold the funds, but we still have the EDF kind of act as like a consultant, but rather than like, okay, this project wants $1 million, here's $1 million, and they don't even get milestone 1 of 10 and run off with the money.
Even the EDF funds are held by a custodial, yeah. So it's not like It's not like Mark has the keys to the EDF wallet. The EDF and also the IOTA Foundation funds are all sitting in custody with, I think, with Crypto Finance AG, and so that's kind of and this would be maybe a possibility, but of course. The members of such a committee would, of course, need to be fully KIC'd and AML'd and signed, contracted, and put into papers of such an entity, if it would be a Swiss or whatever kind of foundation. And also, if as long as there is also the receivers of such money still will need to do a KIC. Yeah, so it will not be possible as long as there is any connection to the IF or the EDF to give out money to an anonymous account somewhere in the world. Yeah, so the receivers, but that's, I think, also not a problem, because we have all the projects that are currently building in IOTA are known, and I think nobody would have a problem that the project does a KIC process to receive a nice funding from such a thing.
Yeah, I think if you're that's just, if you're going to get money, you're going to get KYC. I mean, unless you have a proper DAO's already set up and you've set up all the rules and everything, and we get to a point where the maybe the numbers are smaller, but for bigger numbers, yeah, it's hard to imagine a future where that doesn't happen for a long time.
Yeah, then it's like, I mean, of course it could be, but then it would really need to. There cannot be any connection then to the foundation or to EDF somehow. Yeah. So then this would be something that not even the EDF or the foundation would not be allowed to fund the legal wrapping or something like this of such a thing. If there is a plan to just give out money to anonymous people or somewhere in the world without any check marks, without any milestones, without any KIC, this is not something where the IF or the EDF can get involved in any way. And this would also be very, very difficult to convince the community, like I said, because then you have 10 people controlling $5 million and nothing in place that avoids them of just running away with it. Yeah, so that's kind of, I don't think the community would ever vote on something like this.
Yeah, it would be hard.
Perfect.
So I'm curious of people's ideas, because in that process, I think it's a great process to get like some of those funds out, spurring innovation, spurring more development, which brings, of course, more interest into IOTA in the interim until the DAOs go. And I like the committee idea. How do people think that? Like, how do you? I totally get that people will, let's say, propose to be in the committee, but then how do we get community consensus to say, hey, out of these 30, we choose these 10?
Yeah, it's a difficult thing. I mean, you could again do voting in Firefly. I mean, Firefly supports multiple option voting and things like this, so we could maybe do several rounds of 5 candidates, something like this. Yeah, like you have a vote between 5 candidates. The top 2 come to the next round. Something like that could be done in Firefly.
That's interesting too. Like, let's say they put up. Could you in Firefly put up 30 options, and the hold on, just the user then has the ability to place funds in either 3 of those options, let's say?
No, it's not possible in Firefly. You can have maximum. I think the libraries allow maximum 10 options, but to have a usable UI in Firefly, I think we limited it now to 6. But you can always only choose one. Yeah, so you cannot have multiple. You don't have multiple choice in the voting in Firefly. But you can have 6 different options to choose from, but you can only choose one.
There's no way to split funds, huh? I guess within the
yes, of course you can split. you can split funds because you will always vote per wallet. So if you
Ah,
wanna, let's say you have 10G and you wanna give
yeah,
5G to one
yeah.
candidate, then you do this. You do 5G in one wallet, and you wanna give 2G to another candidate, then you do this in a second wallet and vote for this one with 2G. You can do this by splitting the funds as you wish to different wallets. This is
Oh,
possible.
that totally makes sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool.
So
Cool.
you could effectively do a rank choice if you did it that way, right? You just make it so.
Effectively, yeah, this is like a manual rank choice that the voters need to understand how it works. But like this, you can do it. Yeah, you separate your funds to different wallets and then give different amount of funds to different candidates.
I like it. I like it.
Mhm. That's doable. Yeah.
So yeah, and then so 10 choices. So yeah, that round, something along the lines of that. So many winners from each round, and then I mean, I don't know. I would see personally. I think 10 would be a good committee. But maybe you pick. Of course, it has to be maybe 12, and you do 4, 4, and 4, like 4 out of 10, 4 out of 10. If there was 30 people applying, I guess. So you have to see like how many people are applying, and then kind of break it down from there into groups. But yeah, that definitely seems doable to do it through Firefly. Like I thought the Discord one went really good, and I like that.
Yep.
However, there's some people that aren't on Discord, and
It's not. And the thing about it, Discord too, is multiple identities, right? That's always right. So
always a tricky. I mean, but it's usually most DAOs do it like this. You have
yeah, they
first
do.
of all
They do.
you have discussions in Discord, and then you have a poll, yeah. And then what normally happens is that people move stuff into a forum like Discourse. And I mean, we have our IOTA new governance forum coming up.
Mhm.
We could put then like real focus discussions into the governance forum, and Discourse has also a voting plugin where then people could vote again, where you would have like a second layer of voting, where it could be like a pre decision. So let's say we have 50 candidates and we nail it down to 24 or to whatever, and then this could be a base layer of having a vote in Firefly. Then
You could also, put a PR in it. There might already be one in there into our GitHub on the Sooniverse, and for rank
we
choice.
can do it in Sooniverse. Yeah, we could do
rank choice.
do a Sooniverse.
I think it might be built, but if somebody wants to just make sure it is, just go on the GitHub and put a feature request, and then we can take care of it that way, because there's going to be many ways of voting. So
Yeah.
Yes.
One other thing.
also
One other
another
thing.
thought.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say you'd also have to make sure that the voting group is smaller than the total committee, just because there's going to be a lot of situations where you can see clear conflicts of interest, right?
Yes.
If I'm an NFT marketplace and I vote down another NFT marketplace, just
sure,
because,
for sure.
so
I was thinking about that same thing today driving, like, if someone proposes a project to these funds, can they be a committee member? Is there any way? Which is tough, because I feel like people that are actually doing projects that need funds are active in Discord, and that's what we need as a committee member. But at the same time, then you have a conflict of interest. So that's one that is a little difficult. Be interested to
Yeah,
hear.
No matter what, the right way to do it is to recuse yourself and get a replacement for that particular vote.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way it's clean, right?
yeah, and that's why I was saying that you'd want to have the voting group to be smaller than the total kind of committee size.
Yeah, I think
tough,
that
because I think there's so much discussion within that committee. So someone would be like you said, like, oh, let's screw that NFT marketplace. Not, you know what I mean? Like more subtly like that. But yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be an interesting one to.
It sure will be.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys. This is turning into a governance. Governance.
Give it over to Gianfranco. Definitely.
Yeah.
So we will actually. I think we will have next Monday. It seems like we have like a first first meeting around, especially this topic in the governance channel, in the governance chat next Sunday, same time like the normal governance call, like
your
3
Sunday,
p.m.
our Monday.
Oh, I think it's my Monday and your.
All right. Well, okay. I'll look back unless we change it. So I think, but we'll look.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
cool.
Move the discussions into the new channel, and yes.
Great. Thank you, Phylo, for helping us out on that one.
Of course.
Yeah, you bet. Okay. Now for the big shoe, Gianfranco, are you got your machine all ready to go?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Can you hear me well?
Can hear you just fine.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen, and also during the presentation, Pablo is also sharing his screen.
Okay.
We have a coding session, a light, small coding session with him.
All right.
But yeah, showing what we have. So the announcement of early morning today is about the site for the Centangle platform that we have been pitching and talking about for probably the last 3 or 4 months. And indeed, it lists a series of events that are coming towards the release of the game and release of the NFT platform, or sorry, the NFT marketplace. So the first event that we have within the site is the call for data scientists that we are already coordinating with University of Alberta and the Canadian AI community, also with Data Science Peru. So Data Science Peru is this institution, University of Alberta is this one. And in the case of the Canadian AI community, we are exchanging emails right now, so there is still confirmation pending. But it's open for any data scientist that wants to participate, and they will get. Oh, sorry. Do you see my screen?
Only Discord.
Oh,
I only see the Discord. Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Okay, good. Thank you, Anthony. Didn't notice.
Anytime.
Yeah, now I see Zentangle. Yeah.
Yeah. So the call for data scientists, as I was saying, is the opportunity for these professionals to participate providing data sets. So we will select the data sets that best suit for another event within the following weeks, which is the Anotathon. But essentially, we're giving away part of the NFT crowdfunding sale and NFTs to the winning data scientists that follow this criteria, which is it's basically very, very simple, but specific for their domain of knowledge. So they can submit the form directly from the site, and then they are good to go. The second event is the attackathon. This one. So this one is for hackers or attackers that want to.
Is everybody like clear? I mean, I know that we have a lot of community members, but is everybody clear what you're describing here? Or is anybody wondering what exactly is the annotation thing?
That's a good starting point, Alex. Thank you for that. Well, I can start explaining the annotation tool as well and the problem. So we kind of line up with that, and then we moved with the series of events. So what we are releasing is a platform with its first game, which is Vision Legends, and within this platform we also have an application launchpad. So then we will open up the opportunity for other community members or projects to join the platform and add or develop further other games or applications. In the case of Vision Legends, which is the first application, uh, it solves the problem of having a fleet of people working on overseas, especially in India and China or Taiwan, annotating images with the sole incentive of quantity, but not necessarily quality. And by annotation, we mean the act of tagging images to train artificial intelligence. So there are 4 types of image annotation. One is classification, the other one is bounding boxing, and the third one is segmentation. We are focused on bounding boxing, which is this one. So the fact that when you have an image, you set up a box and you define that there is an object here that it's a vehicle, it's a person, it's a street light. So when deep learning models are developed, someone has to tell that deep learning model that this object exists. So then it can learn and recognize it the next time it sees it. So what we are doing is we are gamifying this. Now
like today,
with
it's like
our
a bunch
platform,
of people in low-cost countries
what?
working on.
What?
Right, usually you would have
Sorry?
some low-cost people in some low-cost countries to go through images and annotate them.
Yeah. So instead of hiring people, we are incentivizing gamers, and about 75% of the funds that come from the data scientists to go through this effort are transferred to the gamers. So the gamers are the ones who have the biggest rewards, and they are also betting against other gamers. So the game has the option of becoming a casino for the gamer, where he can increase his bet by putting more tokens and competing fairly through a smart contract with humans. So Centangle and the platform is not making money for the bets. It's peer-to-peer transaction through the smart contract, but we are monetizing each click that the gamer makes through the platform. So it's like the data scientist is funding the bets, it's funding the clicks, and then we are taking or we have a revenue stream based on the clicks. Each click on the application makes money. So we will release the interface in the next couple of weeks, following the calendar. Go ahead.
Sorry, Gianfranco, this is Andy. Quick question. So when you say that the data scientists are funding the clicks, you're meaning that they are the ones who are putting the money down, and it's the gamers who are not paying to participate, but basically trying to get King of the Hill in best identifying the object and what the data annotation in the data set. Is that correct?
Correct. So the data scientist has to get this done somehow. He can hire, he can do it himself, he can use our platform. So we are going with competitive market prices for the annotations per image, but we are not hiring these gamers. So then the rewards are transferred to the gamers.
And gamers are not
Most of the rewards, yeah.
yeah, and gamers are betting on their participation or not. I kind of missed that casino aspect.
Yeah, so you have a baseline. As a gamer, you will enter the platform and you can play for free, and you can make money without putting any money from your pocket. That's option one. And then there is the second flavoring where you can raise the bet and also take a larger percentage from other gamers who are participating, um, and from the betting pot. So you can bet against the other gamers about their position and the number of images that you annotate. So you have that as an option, but you can pay for free. You can play for free.
I think one of the propositions that you, and the reason why gamification of this is interesting, right? And I think you mentioned it in your last presentation, was when you pay people, wherever they are, right? It becomes just a mundane task and a boring task, right? So and accuracy becomes less because people are fatigued, they're not engaged, they lose interest, but it's a job, right? So the fidelity of the information you're getting from them isn't as high as you want it to be. So by gamifying it, you're also measuring and encouraging and getting people to play by not only how fast they can do it, but also how accurate they are, right? And so that actually produces a better result, better fidelity, right? And so that potentially is better data for the scientists, right? And then you have better AI. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. And at the end of the day, the platform is also an open data library.
Mm-hmm.
So with all the annotations on the Tangle, that gives way more trust than a zip file that has thousands of annotations and you don't know what's exactly
Right.
there, right? So yeah, and what is happening right now in the industry is that these annotations are duplicated over and over and over. So like a company has the same annotation and resells that to different buyers, and there are competitors of that company, that annotation company, that have about the same and reselling the same.
So
So
they're
what
all
we plan
using the
to do
same data
is
set. So they're all using the same data sets, and so you're not getting any betterment. You're just basically using. So it's garbage in, garbage out, right? So if everybody's using garbage, then the AI, then the end product and results just you don't have as good a result for the AI, right? So
Mhm. Yeah, 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 totally. And we are offering the option for the data scientist to partner with the platform. So if they open up the data as public, the end result,
Mhm.
the annotated data, then they get a cut from the NFT marketplace. So that's the other side of the business model. So um, the platform has an NFT marketplace, and then it has the feeless option for the marketplace. So anybody can join and mint their NFTs, or they will mint their NFTs for free, but they have the option of curating their NFTs or validating their NFTs through the gamers. So if they have to decide a network rate, so they say, okay, between 0% to 2.4%, and I'm willing to share that much with the network or with the platform. And gamers are attracted to vote on these NFTs that are giving them more percentage, because the gamer who wins the campaign is eligible, or well, he also wins 75% of this 2.4% when the NFT is sold. So in that way, it creates a network effect for the NFT within with the gamers, and the artist on exchange has a higher value, or a potentially higher value piece of artwork that is sold through the platform. So that's another revenue stream. It's quite complex in terms of how many entries it has, because the artists and the data scientists um, are also exchanging value. But this graph summarizes it. So the artist gets validation and network effect. On exchange, they give 0 to 1.8%, which is that 75% that I mentioned from the 2.0, 2.4. Percentages and numbers, but this is the number that everybody should stick to it. and then scientists provide 75% of the campaign funds to the gamer. They get the image annotations. The DAO provides the decentralized ecosystem, and then the DAO gets 1 cent token per click. Gamers are betting against other gamers, and nobody else is in the loop or taking a cut from these betting pots. Then the scientist is giving away 20% to 25%, depending on the network rate, to the DAO and getting the decentralized ecosystem. And between the scientist and the artist, the artist is giving this much 0.12% to the scientist and getting on return 0.40 up to 4.8% from the campaign funds. So there is an ecosystem in where different stakeholders are getting essentially value from each other, and the idea is to use this again as Centangle as an application launchpad, and be in Vision Legends the first game. So I don't know if you have questions here.
Yeah, so with the NFTs that you get, is there a game that I see that it says Vision Legends? So these NFTs would be like armor within that game? Is that
correct? So for the Genesis sale, and specifically for Vision Legends, so this is specifically for Genesis sale, okay? So the NFTs or art that we are creating, they come with points that will allow you to increase your chances of winning for a certain, not period of time, but it's like you have a bank of points, and once you spend them, then well, your points are gone, but as you play, you get more points. So these NFTs come with those points, but for the artist, it's on them to say, I want to use Centangle to mint an NFT that is linked to a game, for example, Vision Legend, or I want to use the platform to mint an NFT for free.
what kind of reward is an artist get? I realize that there's a percentage here, but like what is the kind of expected reward for an artist whose NFT is used?
So the artist selects, let's say the artist say, okay, I'm going to link this NFT to Vision Legends, campaign number 1 or campaign number 10. So then he selects the percentage, and he gets a network effect from the gamers because his NFT is upvoted or downvoted depending on how appealing it is for the gamers. Likely to be upvoted, but if you like let's say if you upload a piece of like just a dot on a blank image, or like a blank image with a dot in the center, it will likely be downvoted, right? So if the NFT is appealing and the gamers like it because they are getting some money to put attention on reviewing the NFT and validating it, then this is going to be ranked higher than other NFTs that are within the platform but are not being assessed by anybody else, right? So the gamer can go through other NFTs and again vote them, but there is no much incentive on doing that because they are not getting anything on exchange. And in the case of the scientist, the artist is giving away a smaller percentage for the artist, but it's getting, if his NFT is a winning one, he's getting about close to 5% from the campaign funds. So this is real money. It's not like subject to a speculation because the scientist is already paying for the campaign, and from that payment, the artist is getting a percentage. However, that amount of money might not cover the artist's expectations, but at least it's a baseline. And to get this, it has to be upvoted as the most liked piece of art.
So, is your partner in crime there? Is he going to be showing something, or are you just? Is this what we're going with? I'm just. I wasn't sure when you told me that you had your other person.
Could you say that again? Sorry.
So are you going to show any other screens? Is the other person that's part of your team going to show anything else, or is this um, what we're going with?
Yeah. I'm gonna show more. So I just wanna walk through the call for data scientists, which I already did.
Okay.
Then
Okay, cool.
the attackathon. Yeah, the attackathon is the challenge for hackers within the IORA community and outside the IORA community. We already open sourced the smart contract that we are using for the game. This smart contract allows multi-tagging or multiple annotations with the data clusterization algorithm. And we are enabling in the next couple of weeks the interface controller for, so it should be before the 25th. So let's see. Yeah, so before next Friday, we will announce a site from where the attackers will be able to understand better the smart contract and also test it out um, and try to bring it down or see what are potential vulnerabilities that it might have. We're doing the same for the NFT auction sale. So we are enabling the um, um, a demo NFT auction with IORA. We are using IORA wallet, IORA oracles, and our backend to connect with the smart contract and let the smart contract know what NFT what MetaMask address should be used to mint the NFT. So Pablo, it's gonna, yeah. So before Pablo jumps in, so this is for the attackathon. Then there is about 1% of the Genesis sale that is gonna go for the top 3 winners plus 6 Genesis NFT cards. And for the Anotathon, this is for gamers. So starting the March 4th, the gamers will be welcome to test the game, to test the betting system. All of that's going to happen with Goshimer network tokens. But the rewards are going to be paid with obviously mainnet tokens. So they will have the chance to create their MetaMask, connect with MetaMask, create their DID, connect with the game, and test out the system. And the best player, it's gonna get this, like the top 3 are gonna get this match. So those are the 3 key events: the call for data scientists, the Anotathon, and the Attackathon. And also as part of the Genesis sale, we are reserving 2.5% to fund 2 DAOs, the IORA content creators and IORA ad DAO, to essentially develop further their projects, writing and everything. We will coordinate the transfer after the end of the event. And if you have questions, we have an FAQ also here explaining specific details of this. So that's in terms of the scope. Pablo, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so now we need to switch to look at
Pablo?
his stream, right?
Yeah, he's ready.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna share his stop sharing mine.
All right, everybody click on Pablo's stream, please. And I don't know if you know this, Pablo, but you were muted, so.
Yeah, so Pablo is our one of our lead developers. He's very good with IOTA streams, IOTA wallet, IOTA DM. He's learning English.
Oh, okay, no worries. Gotcha.
English classes, but
good for him.
What he's gonna show us is the auction integration with IOTA wallet and how the auction is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So the rules are fairly simple. We are going by round numbers. The opening price is 100 mega IOTAs, and then every increment needs to be multiple of 5 mega IOTAs. If someone deposits, let's say 101 mega IOTAs or 1 IOTA, like 1,000,001 IOTA, the wallet integration is gonna refund that right away. So, and even for the auction, when you send the money, your funds are held until there is a higher bid. As soon as there is a higher bid, your funds are returned, and the next highest bid is held. So we are not locking the funds, and you have the chance of using the same funds to add more and get a higher bid even. So we were running some testing, and we got time response, I think, up to 15 milliseconds for the transactions.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. So in this case, let's say I put a bid for, I don't know, 10 Miyota, and then somebody comes in and they offer 11. And if I want to just beat them, I decide to increase it by 2. I just add in 2 Miyota, and it'll just add to the total.
Not like that, because
okay.
Let's say, well, let's say the opening price is 10 Miyota.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're the first one. You send 10, and then I come and put 11. So
Yes.
your 10 Miyota are returned to you.
Okay.
And my 11 Miyota are now held.
Okay, so every single time, like it's every transaction is returned, it doesn't append. Gotcha. I got it. I'm cool.
Yeah.
No worries. I just was curious.
It's kind of clever, especially because you have no fees, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's totally fine. and if you're getting that performance, if you get that type of performance, it's like nobody will know a thing. So great.
Yeah. So the fact that this is Phylo, sorry, it's so convenient. And even Pablo has been playing with just the auction part, and it's fun because
you mentioned that there's minimum increments. So like in that example, if someone bet 12, do I have to bet 17 to be on top of them of the current bet, or is it, what was the 5 MIOTA increment piece?
So the rules are, that's a good question. So the rules are opening price 100 Miyota and every increment multiple of 5 Miyota. So if someone sends 106, won't be recognized and it's going to be
gets
returned.
Bounced back. Yep. That was the first transaction that he did at 1 Miyota. I gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and we saw the integration that Adam did with IOTA wallet, and we were like, wow, this is that's exciting because it's just ideas flourishing everywhere about how to do this. And what we are building right now, even, well, this is with mainnet, obviously, but this is the predecessor of an NFT or an auction platform for anything. So exciting times. I really think that it's very, very convenient to be building right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but I struggle to see how something like this would be executed in other ecosystem platforms as smooth and certainly like nowhere near as quick as what you're demonstrating.
Yeah, totally. So what you see there, yes. So what you see there is the backend is reading the addresses. So for the auction, we create a unique address that is linked to a MetaMask. So it's linked to a customer and also linked to an NFT. So every time you participate on a different auction, you are dealing with a different funding address. So the backend knows that relationship, and then it's connected to through IOTA oracles to let the smart contract know who is the winner and to what MetaMask address the NFT should be minted to. Yeah. So that's what we want to we want to share. This is going to be open as part of the attackathon. I mean, we are going to put a UI for this and enable an API for attackers or hackers to test this out and see potential vulnerabilities, if any, prior the auction that we are held in late March.
That's impressive, man.
Yeah,
and like you said, the applications, it's so many cool applications.
Yeah, I think we're seeing the birth of marketplaces on IOTA, and with the feeless nature, this is just the start. I mean, there's so many different ways it can go, and as we implement these, we're gonna find like 10 other ways, 10 other things, and it's just gonna multiply.
Yeah, totally. For not only for NFT marketplaces, for a decentralized exchange or
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's the tools that you build that are just the building blocks on the next level and on the next level that you're going to use to combine them and build actually some really innovative solutions. I mean, just building this one, I can think of like 3, 4, 5 different ways to use this.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing, Gianfranco. Wow.
Guys, thanks, Pablo. He's the one who
Yeah.
optimized. He optimized the wallet integration. We had a previous version. It was working. I guess each transaction took about 2 seconds to get processed.
Yeah.
But now with the optimization, it got down to 15 milliseconds between the backend and the wallet.
Yeah. Have you been in contact with the wallet library team, with Umaya or Torald or somebody?
Yeah. Pablo
this?
has been. Yeah, Pablo has been bugging them. Yeah.
Cool. Amazing. It's so amazing because actually this would be something that could then kind of increase the usability and the functionality of the libraries for everybody. Yeah, it's amazing. Signa is kind of inventing this stuff, and it might be transported over into the main libraries then, and be available and usable for everybody. And it's like such a huge effort from what teams then can contribute to the whole protocol. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see this.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I also like the fact that it makes it so that the ML tools and the AI tools that are being developed can actually have some kind of verification of the black box in a way, right? Because on a granular level, you're identifying the different pieces that contribute to like the total. Um, so I think from the ML standpoint, when you start to really expand the data sets, it's really fun.
And to be fair, the black box, right? But you can tell now data went into the black box, potentially what is coming out of it, right? But yes, that you can put in trusted data, how trained and what potential bias was there. But the black box is still a black box, right? I mean, to be fair.
Yeah. So I'm eating my nails right now for showing the integration with the smart contract and UI, how it's getting along. But it's gonna be revealed when it's ready. Right now, it's still work on development, but we have really good progress on that front too. That's why we are confident that the time is the right one to release these events towards the NFT sale. And also, I forgot to mention that this NFT sale, it's part of a token distribution. So we are not only giving away points for the game and the art that our designers are creating, but we are also allocating 5% of the Zen tokens for NFT holders for the Genesis sale. Yeah, and all the details about the token distribution are in the Centangle site. So yeah, community is getting that as well.
I'm sure Eric Hopp is also.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the tools that you built being used, right? Of course, this is Ethereum VM based, so it goes a bit alongside what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, no, totally. The possibilities are endless, literally, because again, we don't have fees, and nobody else can say that. So that's huge, really big. That's why the idea of monetizing every single click, but not by flooding users with advertising, but actually it's a monetization per action. So I think that that's a potential revenue stream for new business models and community projects that can build with smart contracts and with IOTA. I forgot to mention that for the Genesis sale, buyers are getting this before other investors' opportunity. So essentially, the first line it's open up for the community, and there are the first round for 5%, and the other I think it's 20 or 30%. I'm not sure right now, but that's for after when investors kick in, and also when the community it's larger.
So Gianfranco, have you been looking into our latest developments with respect towards the Stardust efforts that we're doing currently? Because I'm wondering how much impact it would have if your smart contracts are no longer feeless. It will be small fees. It will more be gas fees to make sure that there is a price on running a smart contract. But it's no longer a matter of what you just said. I'm simply sending the tokens back. Because sending tokens back with a smart contract is going to cost a small fee in the new version.
Yeah, we have checked that. So for the auction, we send funds back and forth. And I guess for the new version, this is going to affect assembly, correct? It won't affect the IOTA base layer.
It will affect the IOTA base layer and therefore assembly. Right? It's the tokenization framework that's being implemented. We have the dust protection that you will have to deal with, and we have the fee structures for gas. And well, you can set other fees, but you can set them to 0. But gas is always going to be a resource because we cannot have this attack factor of that anybody can simply trigger a contract willy-nilly without paying for it.
Yeah.
Right? And the fees will be limited. I always find the word fee a bit of a misnomer because with fees, everybody immediately thinks about the fees that people pay when you run smart contracts on Ethereum, which are ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And where people fight to get the first to get to be the first who is executed, but that mechanism is not there in our version. Fees are simply a way of dividing the computation resource in a fair way between the people who want to run it. So
yeah, Oliver.
The amounts are limited. You're talking like a few 10,000s of IOTAs or something.
Yeah, Oliver has been looking into this, but as far as my understanding goes, is that every time we send a message to the smart contract, we have to pay at least 1 IOTA.
Yeah, it's potentially a bit more.
Okay.
More in the order for it depends on how the implementation for the EVM is. The 1 IOTA that you need to send is because you cannot do a 0 transaction. You have to transact because you need to create a UTXO, right? So UTXOs cannot be 0. So therefore you need to transact always with a minimum of 1 token. But if you are transacting using off-ledger transactions, then you don't need to do that because that is strictly a mechanism that is there for the Tangle itself to keep track of the UTXOs. If you're transacting off-ledger, then any payments will come out of a budget that you have specified. We're still looking at the details of that because we only just at the point where we ourselves are bumping into all these things. For example, during writing of tests, all of a sudden you have to make your tests a bit more complex to deal with the gas and things like that, and to make sure that the budget is available if you call a function and all these things. So we're looking into ways of how we can make it as simple as possible for the user, but we're not quite there yet.
Eric, just quick question on that. I know the assembly is decentralized, so then you have the gas fees there. If it was a mainnet smart contract, and let's say a trusted consortium, and could that trusted consortium, since they're taking all that computational power within their consortium on their nodes, can they cover those costs themselves, which would then be 1 iota UTXO, and they could set the smallest limit. Now it would be up to the users to trust that consortium. But for instance, if Dell and Intel and whatever got together, I mean, people would basically trust that, as we trust consortiums in the regular economy. So is it still possible that at least from the user side, they're not paying, and that 1 iota to record the data on the UTXO is covered by the consortium?
I don't know. Maybe we will provide a mechanism to do that. But currently, the gas fees are coming out of the account of the caller of the smart contract.
Okay.
Right? But nothing precludes a consortium to top up the accounts of people, and maybe we can even have that as a setting that it is done automatically, that the gas fees are coming out of the chain account itself, so they are simply rotating within the chain. Right, that would be a way. There's all kinds of ways, but we're not at that point yet to make those decisions.
Sure, because then
we need the gas for runaway purposes, right? Gas is the way we are limiting processing in a deterministic way.
For sure.
There's no way to do it, for example, to set a timer, because then every node in the committee would get a different point where the state of the contract is halted, and it wouldn't be deterministic anymore.
Yeah, I remember those like CFB days with the clusters, and it was like companies could hand out essentially a coupon, such as stores do in our regular economy. And it's like, hey, here's a $5 coupon, come shop at us. So it would be awesome where, a company, Zignar or something, could say, hey, here's a coupon. You get a coupon when you onboard with us, and that coupon is essentially then your gas fees from the consortium side or the owner of the contract side. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it evolves.
I don't think that will work, because I think the gas fees will always be paid in IOTAs, so you can't pay with a coupon or something.
Well, I'm just not coupon. I say like a coupon.
Yeah, so, but I mean a coupon token or something, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean so if a company says, hey, when you onboard, we're gonna give you a 5 myota coupon, and that goes into your account.
You would essentially need a mechanism where you can send the coupon, and then the company will send the fees to the account that's associated with you. But the problem is that account is accessible by the user, so that user could simply take all those fees.
Good point.
So we need to think about that kind of stuff.
So is this completely not feeless then? So the feelessness is no longer...
The feelessness is on the tangle. The tangle will be feeless. Smart contracts cannot be feeless.
Okay.
It's against the nature of a smart contract to be entirely feeless.
Yeah,
it would be nice, but it comes with a number of attack factors that you will need to combat in some way.
And Eric, I thought that we can write scripts on layer 1. Wouldn't it be possible to say, look, I send you now this coupon, yeah, and I restrict the use of these coins in some way, that they can only be used as a currency to pay for a gas fee in a certain contract?
We will have to see what emerges. I can, off the top of my head, I can come up with 4 or 5 different solutions, but we will need to select the right one and see whether they cause problems elsewhere. Right? Those things are not decided just on a whim. They are thought through and thought through and researched more.
Because what could be, I think, really interesting is if I think there will be hopefully a lot of adoption of digital identities and other ways to achieve large-scale adoption without token use. Yeah. But then if we had people running smart contracts, no matter if it's corporations or whatever, that then actually can dispense tokens that have a certain utility into those wallets, yeah, that could be familiar with the use of a token,
yeah. You can use other tokens with smart contracts. That's for sure. But the fee structure is currently hard coded to IOTA.
Yeah, and I'm cool with that, but I'm just saying, like, how can you actually give people some money, like, that they can participate and trigger smart contracts, and you just see like an airdrop kind of a thingy, right? But just, I don't know if the scripts on layer 1 can be used to do something like this, or if you then need to create a different.
I don't know. I wouldn't take too much those scripts on layer 1. They are, in my opinion, a menace. That's the biggest problem that Ethereum has, is that every fucking node needs to run the script, whether it's useful to them or not. That's what we try to fix with our version of smart contracts. Right? So if we have some kind of scripting on layer 1, it will be extremely simple and extremely low cost calculations, because otherwise you're burdening the network,
right,
the entire network, with scripts that could run for simply one user.
Yeah,
and that is what results in the bottlenecks that you see on Ethereum. So scripting, processing is part of the smart contracts. That's where it happens. We only have the very minimum necessary on level 1 to be able to do certain things, like maybe swaps or timed returns, alias addresses, those simple things that you need essentially on level 1. And nothing more. We need to keep that layer as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Anything we add to that is by definition also an attack factor that we need to take into account. And then you get the problem with attack factors is that with every feature you add, it multiplies, right? Because it becomes a combination that you need to take into account. Yep. So we will always keep it as simple as possible. And even though there are some voices that say we need some scripting on level 1, I will fight hand and tooth against that, because I think that is the worst mistake we could make.
That makes sense.
I mean, Eric, the way I look at it is that, you always have some small inherent cost. I mean, there's electricity to run machines. There's all kinds of these things. And the fees that are part of smart contracts, hopefully, will just be this at a level where they're just that small incremental cost, where a company running or someone running those smart contracts can choose to get, make up that cost difference whatever way they want to. That's so inconsequential to the running of everything that it's just like, okay, well, yeah, I'm paying for electricity, I'm paying for air conditioning, I'm paying for all this stuff from my machines. The fee for these smart contracts is, so small, it's on that level. I don't know, is that your thoughts?
We're talking a few hundred to maybe 1,000 IOTAs.
Yeah.
So that's literally right now $1,000 or something like that.
Yeah. So they're just like a noise level, very, very limited, and you're just going to absorb that. At an aggregate, it's going to be something, but you just build that into your cost structure of how you're, when you run a solution, you build that into your cost and compensation structure.
Exactly. You pad everything.
Well, if you frame it like that, then in a way you can deliver that like feelessly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
And so
it's
I
packaging,
think
really, if you think about it. right?
Correct.
Just-
I think it's the fact that using smart contracts requires either a deposit to cover whatever those fees are, and or a cost to operate. Doesn't mean that the product that's built on top of that can't be feeless.
Yeah.
For the users and for the community, right?
Ex-
So much so that even with fees, it's going to be 99.99% cheaper than everything else that exists.
Exactly.
Yes.
We're always going to win out in comparison with other cryptocurrencies because blockchain is inherently not feeless.
Mhm.
But I respect your developer / engineering answer of it can't 100% be feeless.
Yeah, because I mean, if I'm a business owner, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up an account that's going to pay for the fees inherently out of whatever fund I set there, and then I'll, that's just like paying my electricity bill. That's just a cost of doing business, and then I'll set up my fee structure on top of that, so the user sees basically the user is seeing everything as a fee structure, and then they'll either have to pay up front to get into the system, or it'll come in as a margin on top of something, or some other way, staking or any other myriad of ways to passively compensate for that base cost structure of running those systems. And then it's just a matter of how does that work? How do I deliver that?
Now, if I were to compare that on one example, maybe like Cardano, where to interact with a smart contract and a single NFT costs you the equivalent of 2.1 MIOTA, updating, doing any sort of transaction will cost you 400 to 600 MIOTA just to interact with it, to update a price, to take it down. Those are all of the costs that, to me, I see as barriers for mass adoption, but that are feasibly eliminated, with some of the technology being built, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We currently have some first numbers that we use, right? For example, we have set a minimum limit of 100 IOTAs for processing, right? To reduce the amount of transactions that way. But we're still looking at. I just today got the first results of the WASM VM, and processing in the WASM VM is in the order of like 50 to 60,000 or maybe 100,000 gas. And we calculate gas right now with a factor, and the factor is 100. So we divide by 100, and that's the amount of IOTAs. But that factor is something that we're going to be playing with, for example. And we need to define where the sweet point is for that, and how the different components in the system compare to each other processor wise, right? For WASM it's very easy because every instruction is essentially one gas, and so it simply counts instructions that have been executing. But in the EVM it could be completely different, and if you call functions in the sandbox of the ICP, then you have to assign a certain amount up front. And then you need to take into account things like what storage going to cost, and things. There's a whole lot of things there that we need to take into account, and that tuning will take a little time as well.
Well, we got our
Anyway.
money's worth. Yeah, we got our money's worth tonight. Awesome.
I
This is
don't want to
great.
detract from Gianfranco because I'm seriously impressed, guys. And I've said it in a previous meeting. This project shows a use case of NFTs that's not silly. This finally shows what NFTs can do instead of the
Totally
bullshit going
true.
on.
Yep.
Totally true.
Thanks for that, Eric.
Yeah.
It's fun to, yeah. Yeah, just to mention that, well, for the business model and the revenue streams that we are designing and building, we took in consideration the fact that we have to pay per transaction or interaction with the smart contract, and the funds are coming from from the people who put the funds on, the collectors and the data scientists. So gamers won't have to worry about that. And the other thing is that for industrial solutions, I was thinking while you were referring to having the need of pay these fees, and also hearing the other comments. Well, not necessarily everything needs to be 100% decentralized. I think that the fact that right now smart contracts are not in production put us like not only Signar but everybody thinking how can we use the available tools to make this work. And this auction and the other NFT marketplaces, everything that is happening, it's because we have the challenge. So we are innovating with the tools that we have, and I think that that's opening even more possibilities than um, having the entire cake at once. So it's great. I think it's good.
Been great. Really nice job, you guys. Great discussions this evening. I think that we're kind of getting on a couple hours here, so we should probably wrap this up. So I thank everyone for attending. Thank you, Phylo, for giving us the overview of where we are. Gianfranco and team, just amazing. And that is awesome. So we've got a cameo here. So let's kind of close this out, and everybody will be back in 2 weeks. Keep your eyes peeled for a bunch of interesting news from Sooniverse, from Gianfranco, and there's just a whole lot of other things cooking in the community. So it's going to be fun. So thanks very much, and we'll catch you next round. Talk to you guys later. Thanks, Dave. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Nice helmet, Mike.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.